time is it?
Once again, to recommend things.
What do you recommend today, Vince?
I'm recommending a comic book. Bam! That's right, Conan, the Dark Horse series specifically. Now, I'm not talking necessarily about Conan, the Songs of Sudasa, or whatever, those little side project, the Swords of Katai. They had a whole bunch of them that came out. This is the mainline monthly that came out. I think there was only about 50 issues of it. And this is the first trade of that. Look at that. That's thick. It's printed on great paper. It's has a great artist, Carrie Nord, written by Kurt Busiek, but it's not just completely new stories by Kurt Busiek. These are adapted versions of Robert E. Howard's stuff. And
very cool.
This is a great deal. This book is only $16, and I love it. It's approximately 7.5 issues. And I say and a half because it
was half an issue?
Well, I think it was even less than half an issue, but
wow.
It collects issues 0 through 7. Oh wait, 0 through 6, and part of issue 7 of the Conan series.
I don't think I've ever seen that.
Now, I do recommend looking into the individual issues, because at the back of every one of these Conan series, and in the current running Conan the Barbarian series, they have adventures in the life of Robert E. Howard, the guy that created Conan.
Oh, cool. And they didn't put that in the trades.
No, and I really wish they would have, or I wish... Actually, what I'd really like to see is after Conan the Barbarian finishes, I would like them to just make a trade of these little strips, events in the life of
cool.
Robert E. Howard.
I was just surprised to hear you say if you can get the single issues, buy them. That's unusual. Usually you're very, get it in trade.
They have the stuff that's really important. Now they do have some interesting things in the back. They have some interview, maybe that's an interview.
It's so interesting you didn't read it?
No, I didn't actually. It's been a long time.
I'm just kidding.
They have artwork and they have information about Robert E. Howard, and I feel like this is so faithful to the spirit of Robert E. Howard, because when you're looking at this art, not only is it just plain beautiful, I mean, this is fantastic stuff. This is very good-looking artwork, but not only that, but the emotion that's in it, the blood. They have this visceral look that I think comes through in Robert E. Howard's writing and his prose, and I think they managed to capture that in here. It's not just polished, it's brutal. It's not just brutal, it's polished. It's fascinating to me, and I'm not necessarily recommending just this. However, this is a good place to start, considering it is,
the beginning.
The beginning, but this is fantastic stuff, and. Just by the by, for those of you who are thinking, it's Conan, what do I want to read Conan for? I've seen Arnold Schwarzenegger. The movie's very different from the book. And this is very much so what I believe Robert E. Howard intended Conan to be, from what I've read of the Conan stuff. And Robert E. Howard's Conan stuff. But what's beautiful about Conan is his long hair. No, what's beautiful about Conan, see, he's got long hair. But what's beautiful about this is that he's not the stereotypical Swords of Sorcery, because I had a friend that played the video game Conan for PS3, and he said, before I played the game, I thought it was just a stereotype. Why would I want to read this stuff? However, now that I see what Conan is, I realize he's the quintessential Sword and Sorcery. This is, I mean, granted, this stuff came out back in the 50s, so I highly recommend it. I think it's great, and this is a good way for people who don't necessarily like things outside of Marvel and DC to branch out and see what's there. Because, granted, Dark Horse is certainly not indie, but it's good.
Just to clarify, when you said this stuff came out in the 50s, you meant the books?
Yeah, the Robert E. Howard stuff. This stuff came out fairly recently.
I'm just mentioning that in case anyone was confused by that.
Yeah, this was released in 2005. So...
today I'm going to be recommending You Can Draw Marvel Characters. Now, there are lots of drawing books for... there are lots of different drawing books, of course, for Marvel and DC, and some of them are good, some of them are not good. This is my favorite, and not that I collect these or anything, but I have a couple. I have a DC one that's really awful because it doesn't even have Superman and Batman in it. It's as if they couldn't use those characters for some reason. It was really
why would you want anything DC that
that's
doesn't
actually,
have Batman in it?
And I'm going to show you this one. I'm not actually recommending this, but this one is how to draw DC Comics superheroes. And I mean, look who's on the cover of it.
How to draw some of the DC Comics.
Yeah, that's right. And I mean, it makes a huge deal out of Huntress and stuff. And this one is really lame. It's like tall and short and doesn't do a very good job of telling you what you're supposed to do or give you very much insight. This one, however, is extremely insightful. I picked it up largely because it's written by Dan Jurgens, who I really like. Jurgens' Superman stuff is my favorite Superman stuff.
And he makes popular lotion.
This is a hardback, Vince. Anyway, but unlike that DC one, you actually get to draw Spider-Man because Spider-Man's on the cover.
Yeah, because you wouldn't draw Spider-Man in a DC one.
I mean, you get to draw, a major character. Anyway, I'm kidding. But this is really great because it shows you, like... It shows you, like, specifically how to draw the female figure, how to draw the male figure, how to draw the male head, how to draw the female head, that kind of stuff. And let me also mention that I actually can't draw, despite what this heading says. It says I can draw, but I can't. But I tried. I bought this because I like to draw. I'm just no good at it. I mean, I drew this when I was looking at this, which isn't great or anything, but it's better than what I usually am able to draw. It's not great. But anyway, the thing that it does really well is, first of all, it gives pencil drawings of everything. So it's like, here's Wolverine in pencil drawing. And it gives you a really good sense of what the finished product is going to look like on the page before you ink it or color it and stuff. You know what I mean? It's like this is what you're working toward, and then it gives you a really good idea of shading and that kind of stuff. And then the thing that I really like about it is that it does these really cool tracing pages where it shows you it shows you where to start. It gives you a really good idea of the important places to begin, and then you flip it over, and that's going to be your finished product based on this. And I feel like once you get really good at, and I mean, I don't know much about drawing. I've never been very good at it, but I imagine that once you get good at getting the figure down, and then you can fill it in and get the details going, then you can extrapolate what you learned from this and draw your own characters and draw other characters. And so this will teach you how to draw specific Marvel characters, but it's detailed enough that then you can go on and you can draw other things, and you can draw DC, and you can draw things that aren't superheroes necessarily. Here is. And this is the kind of thing I'd never seen before, where again, it gives you that tracing page of this big, like, 2-page kind of panel of, how to deal with a bunch of characters at once, and that sort of thing. It's really neat. It tells me what I'd want to know if I were going to draw a comic book. Here's how you do a giant battle. Okay, I mean, I'd like to know how to do that. And then it also will tell you things like, not just superheroes, but, like, how to deal with like regular clothing, so that you can draw like supporting characters. So that if you want like J. Jonah Jameson in a panel or something, or like Gwen Stacy or something, it's like, here's how you do regular characters also. Anyway, I was highly impressed with it, and that's what I'm recommending.
Yeah. Interesting side note, by the by, I was almost an art major in college.
Ooh, interesting tidbit. But when I eventually write the Geekvolution trivia test, then people can remember that, and then that'll be the answer to that question.
Right. What was Vince almost a major of in college?
Indeed. Keep it in mind that there will be a test later.
Art? The U.S. military? Pickles?
Really?
Major of pickles.
Basket weaving?
That's right.
Well, hey, thanks for watching us recommend things. We'll recommend something for you once again next week. I'm Captain Logan.
And I'm Vince.